Hey there, I'm Michelle, and welcome to the Leadership Growth Lab, the podcast where we ditch the leadership fluff and get into what actually works. If you're a new or emerging leader trying to figure out how to lead people without losing your mind or your integrity, you're in the right place. I've spent over 30 years leading teams, making mistakes, and learning the hard way so you don't have to. This isn't about motivational posters and feel-good quotes. This is real talk, real stories, and real strategies to help you become the leader you're meant to be. Let's get into it.
Well, good morning. So today I want to talk about being clear and intentional with your words, because communication is literally the most important skill that anybody really needs to grow and to learn. And being clear with your words and being intentional with your words is incredibly important to avoid confusion, misunderstanding, all of that. And communication is always a two-way street. So you have to remember, when you're communicating out, you have a responsibility of being very impeccable with your word and being very careful. Also, making sure that the recipient understands. And then as a recipient, it's important for you to ask follow-up questions, not snap to judgment, make sure you're active listening, all of those things. So the situation I had recently, this wasn't even verbal communication, because that's honestly a lot of times verbal communication, get things misunderstood. But email and written communication is equally, how should I say it, mystifying, because you have to remember that there's no tone of voice in your written word. So unless you are very, very specific with the words that you use to portray emotion that you are trying to convey to the listener, you're not, it's going to fall flat. So I had a situation where I had somebody email me and understood this person has been through a lot, and but their employment with us has been bumpy, to say the least. They When they started, like, we didn't have our act together as far as getting processes in place. So training wasn't really structured or available, and didn't have a lot of structure. We had some, but not a lot. This was all communicated to this person before they started. Well, they expressed concern about that, talked about the plan and what we were going to do, and then they also went and spoke to uh, the main person at the site and expressed it to them as well. Okay, fine, that's your prerogative. But then we start going forward with plans. Now, understand, this person had something tragic happen to them personally, so I totally understand that. But the other things were, is we made concessions for this person to wrap up at their previous place of employment, and that was supposed to end the end of October. And here we are now going into our first weekend in November, and that person is still wrapping up at the other place. So a little suspect there. Then the person says they're ready, they're coming back, everything. Now, I put them on the schedule, not, I said, hey, just look at the schedule, let me know if that works or not, because I just guessed. We hadn't talked, we hadn't communicated, so I just kind of guessed. And meanwhile, while being away, they'll understood, because they're handling family issues and everything like that. I get it. But it's been very intermittent, and days go by with no updates. And it's been leaving me not clear on how to, like, what method to communicate with this person. Excuse me one second. So because of all that, I've been very confused. So the email that I received today was in response to me saying, hey, look at this week's schedule. I guessed that, I just put somebody you want, and I guessed I wasn't sure of your availability. So I get an email saying that, they're not available on Thursday, and then they're not available on Saturday. Okay. And then they continue on to say, I believe I should take a step back from my role unless you can offer a remote or like an as needed basis. Given everything going on with me, it might be better I take a step back from my role. And I'm like, okay, well, I know I can't offer remote. I know I can't offer temporary or as needed basis. Does that mean then if I can't offer those things, you're resigning? Because that's literally how it felt. Like you say you need to take a step back from your role. I don't know how else to interpret that. So I answered the email that day. Like, I understand that like we can work on whatever you need to, but are you saying that you are resigning your role? Because unfortunately, I'm not able to offer remote work or like as needed basis work. This is an in-person job, a position, a role. And, while it's part-time, I don't need you here every day, but I do need you here consistently. I go that whole day, and I responded within an hour of receiving that email. So I received no response the rest of that day. So in the afternoon, I tried calling them, went to voicemail. I did not leave a voicemail. Then I texted them and said, hey, I got your email and responded. I just wanted to clarify, make sure I'm not misunderstanding. Are you resigning your role? These are all like, I'm sorry, you drop a bombshell like that email. You're just radio silent. So not knowing, and I hadn't heard anything yesterday either. Like, so this was Tuesday morning, and this was now Wednesday morning, and I still hadn't heard anything. So as business, I'm taking it as we may be resigning, and you're not answering me at all. Again, I understand you have things going on in your personal life that you're still kind of working through, and I do get that. But the non-communication after an email like that led me to believe you actually are resigning your role. Mention pretty much everything was cleared out of your office. So that's another thing where I'm like, I need to take this as you're gone, right? So I start the necessary steps for, shutting off the email, changing passwords on things this person had access to, which wasn't a lot because, again, we haven't really gotten even into the training yet. I then, email their personal email and again ask the same question and again reiterate the fact that if you are indeed resigning, which is fine, I understand that, support whatever decision you make, but then would you be able to come by and at least drop off keys because we need you to do that. So like 6 o'clock yesterday, I get a message back saying that she would like to keep her role, but she felt bad that she couldn't work this week, and that's why I got that. Girl, you did all that. You went all through the taking a step back. Like, you have to understand the power of your words. If you're saying I need to take a step back from my role, that's not a conversation you have via email. That is a conversation you have one-on-one with me. That is a conversation where we sit down and we figure out what is a reasonable schedule for you that you can handle right now, balanced with the needs of our business. That's what happened. Not for so I'm still very confused. I've now responded to that. They weren't available. Sit down and go full and also need to bring that there's no more coordinating at this other job. That's done. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted. The saga continues. But the lesson here, direct, say what you mean, be what you say. Do not, especially in email, especially for basic, do not be ambiguous. Sure that there's no other way that your statement, or that it's so clear. Available for questions. If you're just go for today, be impeccable with your word, your communication.
Thanks for hanging out with me today in the Leadership Growth Lab. If this episode resonated with you, do me a favor, share it with another leader who needs to hear it. Got a question or a leadership challenge you want me to tackle? Send it my way. I want to hear from you. Until next time, keep leading yourself first and the rest will follow.